2024 Lexus GX. Yes, this thing is finally redesigned. Now, there have been two generations before it, but you probably wouldn't know by looking at them. They've been pretty much the same. You're talking about, I don't know, almost 20 years of a very similarly executed SUV. This is a massive departure in terms of styling. I mean, just take a look. I think it looks pretty damn good. Now, this is virtually identical in terms of overall proportions and lines to the new Toyota Land Cruiser. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. They both look very cool. Rough, rugged, chiseled. I gotta say, this isn't the Lexus that we know because it is just so different. Usually, it's that very progressive redesign. What would you say? Revolutionary is not necessarily on the menu. It's all very evolutionary in terms of styling updates, but not so here. One thing I will say, if you have any concerns that this is no longer the kind of rough and tumble truck-based SUV that its predecessor has long been, well, dash those completely. This thing is still rough and rugged while also being luxurious. It's still a body-on-frame, truck-based platform, very similar to the Lexus LX. It's a fully boxed frame, so it's super rigid. That's what this thing is all about. It's about that capability, that toughness, built right in, and I gotta say, this thing has it going on. Now, we are gonna do some off-roading in a bit, but right now I am out here on the open road, and I can tell you, it's probably a little more civilized than the last one, but it still feels truck-like. So the steering, it feels very old school and hydraulic. Every little imperfection in the pavement, I can feel it in my hands. And when I switch it over to sport mode here, it only gets even more pronounced. Not necessarily a bad thing, just noteworthy more than anything else. It's a little noisy in here. This thing doesn't even have the big all-terrain tires that you get with either of those over-trail trims, the ones we're gonna take on the trail in a little bit here. But overall, well, this is a Lexus. This is luxurious. No more V8 under the hood. I know some of you out there might be a little disappointed to hear that, but this 3.4 liter twin turbocharged V6 is more than up to the task of motivating this thing. It makes 349 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque, and when you get your foot into it, it's very dignified. It does its job. This thing can also tow a ton. It's good for 8,000 pounds, I think, with this one I'm driving. The over-trail trim can pull as much as 9,000 pounds. That is a lot of trailering weight. I will point out this thing does have an integrated trail brake controller as well as a hitch, and that is standard across the lineup. I love to see that because GX owners, well, you guys tend to do real SUV things. This isn't a parking lot princess. This thing can do work and then some, so it's good to see that both off-road and on, this can do more than your average SUV. Now, I do want to talk about some of the amenities in here because this thing is finally thoroughly modern. Yes, Lexus put that touchscreen in a couple years ago, but it wasn't really cutting it. It was sort of lipstick on a pig. This one, it is totally up to date. It's got the big 14-inch touchscreen. It's got the latest infotainment system. Yeah, a few more touch controls than I'd like to see, but everything you could ask for is here. You also get standard heated and ventilated front seats and a heated steering wheel, optional heated rear seats. You can get massaging seats up front. Like I said, just about everything, including lane keep assist. Finally, it's nice to see that a full advanced safety suite in the GX. And you know, that is good to see based on price tag alone. This thing starts at $83,500 in Canada. That's before freight and tax, and it ranges all the way up to almost $102,000. Now, again, you do get a pretty decked out vehicle for that money, but it is a lot of money. You're talking about six figures here. That includes both the Overland Plus trim as well as the range topping Executive, I think it's called. That one's got all the amenities, but even the Overland Plus, you can get massaging seats in that thing. So it's pretty cool because it's not all about adventure. It's not all about the outdoors. It does have your amenities that you might want as well. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to getting out on the trail, but I'll tell you, out here on the road, I'm impressed. It performs doesn't feel like it's missing that V8 power. This twin turbocharged engine is perfectly fine, but let's go see how the new capabilities help it out in the rough stuff. Okay guys, so I've made the switch into the GX over Trail Plus, and the significance there is the massaging seat that I have running right now, which is absolutely hilarious to me. This thing is a six-figure plaything. That's what it is, but it's got all the capability you could ask for. So as well as that turbocharged engine, it's got the full-time four-wheel drive that you would expect. Low and high range gearing. Obviously the high range is what you're going to keep it in when you're out on the road. We've got it in low range right now. I'm not really sure why, because at least so far this is not exactly a technical or challenging trail, but the point is it is there if you need it. The other point, this thing has better approach angle and breakover angle than the last one. It's got 225 millimeters of ground clearance. The departure angle is slightly worse than its predecessor, but the only reason why is the chunky spare tire that's tucked up under that back bumper. Take it out if you don't think you're going to need it. If it's in the way, throw it in the back. This thing does not have a third row of seats, so there's tons of room for equipment, including that spare tire. Now, again, the GX has a long history of being a very capable machine, and that's what this Overtrail is all about. It's about really enhancing that. It's taking the inherent capabilities and just making them better. We haven't done anything crazy yet, but I'm interested to see what we are about to encounter out here. All right, so we're out here. Honestly, guys, nothing too technical so far. So I want to talk about some of what I'm experiencing. And a couple of those things are out front. It's not so much about the technical abilities of this, but it's more about two key design features. You see these two bulges on the hood. Something that was pointed out to us that I really like. Now, you guys know, if you watch my stuff, I always say you should never go four-wheeling alone, and we're not four-wheeling alone right now, but if you are out in an area that's a little bit technical, maybe you decided to take a detour and hit a trail, these bulges in the hood actually represent the placement of the tires, and that I absolutely love. It's such a cool touch because wherever you line up one of these bulges in the hood, that is your driver's side and passenger side tire, so you know where you are going, which direction you are headed, and what obstacles you are going to climb over and what ones you are going to avoid. That is super cool. Everything else so far really doesn't feel like a challenge. I'm a little disappointed because you can just tell that there's so much capability here. I've done some decent four-wheeling in a GX before, and this is not it, man. I really want to see what this thing is capable of, and so far, it's not really doing it. This is, I don't know, a Sunday drive down a gravel road as far as I'm concerned, and as far as the GX is concerned. It's got adaptive suspension in this one we're driving, as well as the KDSS, the kinetic damper system that Lexus has been using for years. Basically, it just opens a valve when it knows that you're articulating the suspension on one side. It moves all the hydraulic fluid to the other side, and vice versa. It allows a little more articulation, and this being an KDSS system, well, apparently it's got even more articulation, and I think this version has something like 3.5 inches more articulation than the previous generation. And up front, it will actually disconnect the sway bars, just like you can do in something like a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Again, tons of capability, but at least for me, I'm not experiencing it out here, and that is a bit of a shame.